It's always a bit awkward until some people come on, as this is an impromptu live session. I haven't put up a reminder for it, so when people play it back, I hope they're aware of that and they just fast forward to where the discussion starts. I see we have a couple of people live already. Hi there. Forgive me as I can't read your name in Greek. Is it Nicholas? I can't remember. Nikolai? Nicholas? How are you doing anyway? Hope you're well. Cigar fan, how are you doing? Nice to see you again. Okay, so today I wanted to try something different. I could have done it as a recorded video if I wanted, but I've just thought I might as well do this live and then people can obviously watch it back if they want to. Nick, volume up at 0, what does that mean? Not with you on that. Are you saying it's too quiet? If you are saying it's too quiet, I can't speak too loudly because my family are asleep. So I hope you can hear it. Maybe crank the volume up on your whatever it is you're listening on. Apologies for that. Anyway, I'll try and speak up a little bit. So, as many of you will know, I moved to filtered pipes around the end of last year, around December time, which has meant that I've gotten rid of a lot of my standard pipes, the ones without filters. But the big advantage of using filters means that I've got access to many more blends, especially Virginia-based blends, which I couldn't smoke before due to the excessive tongue bite that I suffered. So, although I've parted with a lot of my non-filtered pipes, there are still a few favourites, and I really would like to smoke them still. One of my really all-time favourite pipes is a Soren Refberg, and that's this one here, a beautiful bent billiard, a lovely pipe, and I miss it. It used to give me the most sublime smokes, and I used to smoke Northwoods in this. Now, I have smoked it once or twice since moving to filtered pipes. I'd really like to get it back in my rotation somehow. So I've come up with an idea. Before this, what I've done is some of the pipes that I've been able to convert, I've got converted. I've just sent a batch of pipes, 4 pipes in fact, to Northern Briars, to Ian Walker to convert. And see, I was going to, sorry Nicholas, apologies, I'm sorry, I gets a little bit lost in translation there, I think. So this one here, for instance, it's got a good sized shank, and I could get this one converted. That one shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, I've sent 4 pipes off to him. 2 of them he's converting, 2 of them he said are just a little bit too narrow, and he's nervous that he might crack them. So he's sending those back to me. So I was trying to figure out a way how, the truth of the matter is, Latakia based blends I could probably get away with without too much tongue bite. But I did try that a while back, smoking fact, and it was okay for a while, but it did start to bite after a little bit. So I do have quite a sensitive tongue, it appears. So I was trying to come up with a solution. So what I thought of is, a while back, I'd come up with a solution to continue smoking this Phil Rivara calabash pipe. Now, this is not a filtered pipe. It won't take a filter, but what I do is, this is a proper calabash, and the bowl comes out, and I coiled a pipe cleaner, and that acts as a filter, and it works. It works absolutely fine. It takes in all the moisture. You can see it filters in a fair bit of the nicotine. That needs to come out actually. And it's really a very simple fix. This one used to gather a lot of moisture there. It used to gurgle like mad. Once I did this was the main reason why I did it. It was to prevent the gurgle. But I actually then realised that it actually acts as a filter as well. So what I want to do is something similar. So if I take this Soren pipe, and what I'm going to do is measure the length. I'll do it with the thin end. Okay, so it goes about that much until it hits the bowl. Now obviously I need to clear the tenon. So what I want to do is just basically cut this off. Bend it in half. Give it a little twist. And just pop it in. And I'll see how much I can get in. I can't push it too much because it will... Well, no, it's actually not coming through because it's twisted over, which is good, so it won't go right through into the bowl. There's no air restriction. So in fact, I'm going to put in another small piece. I haven't tried this yet, by the way. This is the first time I'm trying it. So this is more at the wider end, so that should give me a little bit more filtration. And we'll put the stem back in. No, it hasn't come through, so that's good. Ah, slight problem. I can't get any air through it. This is all live, people. Warts and all. Okay, so that's basically a little bit too close to the tenon, so we'll chop it again. This is all trial and error. Okay, we've got a good airflow. I've left some Northwoods out to dry. I haven't smoked Northwoods for quite a while now, so just fancied a little bit. Give it a try. I've been smoking Virginias so much, almost exclusively, for quite some time now, good few months. Okay, it's quite a big bowl on this pipe, so we'll get about half a bowl. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I missed that flavour. That tastes so good. The thing is, obviously, to bear in mind is that the core is metal. Obviously, there's a bit of wire in there, so it's not something that I would leave in. I would use it once and take it out because it could corrode. So more than once I wouldn't use it. I don't use my filters more than once anyway at the moment. The regular 9mm filters. This is not a filtered pipe. This one doesn't take a filter. That's the whole point of the exercise, is I'm trying to bring back into use some pipes which are not filtered pipes, and I'm just making a homemade filtration by just putting it straight into the shank. if this works, and it does make the smokes manageable without a filter, it should mean that I should be able to bring a fair few of my other pipes back into rotation, which is pretty cool. Birds Eye Bri, how are you doing? Have you been following what we've been talking about till now? Oh, it's been so long since I've enjoyed some Northwoods. This is good, really good. Sorry, I don't remember. What are you supposed to be sending money for? There's been a lot going on, so I'm not sure which particular transaction you're referring to. Bird's Eye? Okay, so which pipe were you after? I don't remember. Anyway, I've just uploaded, or in the process of uploading a video. When I was at the Pipe Club on yesterday, in fact, the treasurer told me that he'd heard that prices of block meerschaum are going to be going up. Apparently the Turkish government are closing down the meerschaum mines. I was really surprised to hear that. And apparently there's a lot of huge coal deposits there, and they're going to be turning it into a coal mine. So although there's meerschaum elsewhere in the world, but obviously Turkish meerschaum is generally widely accepted as the best block meerschaum. And that apparently is going to be no more. Hi Aromatics, I'm smoking some Boswell Northwoods at the moment, which was the purpose of this video. Is I've done a bit of a homemade filter in one of my non-filtered pipes, and I'm experimenting to see if I get tongue bite or not. Essentially what I've done is chopped up a pipe cleaner, folded it in half and stuffed it in the shank, and smoking it and seeing if it absorbs enough of the moisture to see if I can enjoy it without tongue bite. And that would mean I could use quite a few of my old favourite pipes which are not filtered. Absolutely, Aromatics. I've been using filters now, 9mm filters, since December last year, and it's completely revolutionised my smoking. I'm smoking Virginia blends most of the time, as you can see here, McClellan blends, which I couldn't smoke before. I could not smoke any Virginias. My tongue is quite sensitive. I could get by with some Aromatics and some generally Latakia based blends, which burns cooler. But even Latke based blends, after a while I'd get tongue bite. Nine mil filter completely removes tongue bite for me. I can smoke virtually anything. It's really a revolution in my own personal experience. Yeah, active charcoal. I use pretty much any of the makes. Peterson, Dr. Pearl, Vaughan. Some people talk about a difference between the various different companies that make charcoal filters. I personally don't see a difference. If there is, it's minimal. Things like airflow and all of that kind of stuff, I don't detect a major difference. I just get the ones that I can get at the best price, to be honest, because I change my filters every time. So, although they're supposed to be good for 4 to 5 smokes, and I know some people smoke them for a lot more than that, which is pretty manky if you ask me, but I change it every time. So I prefer to, if I can get them, try and get them as cheap as I can, because I use them a lot. Yeah, I could see that the 6 mils could be tight. There's a lot to cram in a small space there, and I'd imagine in order for it to work, they've got to try and get as much of the charcoal in there, and that's tight. Well, Nicholas, I can understand that. I mean, we all have different tolerances on our palates. Aromatics, generally, there's a lot of alcohol in them, in the casing and the stuff that they add to it to make it combustible and to preserve it, and that stuff burns hot. The flavourings burn hot sometimes. But if you're smoking Virginia almost all day without a filter, that's pretty cool. You're a lucky man. There's a lot of contributory factors. So it could be the chemical balance of your palate doesn't match well with aromatics, but it's fine with natural sugars in Virginias. Yeah, me too. Only 9 mil. Balsa filters, I only tried right at the beginning when I bought my first Savinelli, but I didn't really carry on with it. I find them very expensive as well. Well, so far so good. I can feel that there's I wouldn't say I've got a tingle of tongue bite. I can certainly feel that there's something happening, but it's not tongue bite yet. And I can see that this is kind of just holding it at bay. It's just enough to hold it at bay. If I would probably smoke this too quickly, it may well start to burn. But I think for the occasional smoke, this idea would work. It certainly seems to be working. And I have to kind of find the right balance with each pipe, how much of this pipe cleaner I can get in there. Yeah, this was that's why I've tried. This is one of my favourite pipes before I went to 9 filter, to 9 mil. Hey Quaker. No worries. I probably won't be staying on for that long. I just really wanted to do an experiment with the homemade filter, and it's so far so good. The draw is very good. The draw is perfect. I had a very nice email today from Shaw. Thanking everybody for their contribution. He seems to be going under some pretty hefty treatment at the moment, but he's hoping to be able to do a video soon. It was very nice to hear from him. Appreciated that. Interesting how certain tobaccos just work well in certain pipes, and I imagine that's why this subconsciously became one of my favourite pipes, because Northwoods just smoked so well in it. I have had Northwoods in one of my other pipes within the last few months. At the moment I've got about 5 pipes which I'm using for English blends, because I've probably sold most of the other ones. And this is a Fabrizio Natalizia pipe, a lovely apple, I suppose you'd call it. Very, very nice pipe. I had custom made. I really ought to get this one converted, actually. Oh, what am I talking about? I have converted it. There you go. Anyway, so I've smoked some Buzzwells in it, Northwoods, and it's just not as good as in this pipe, as in the Soren Rifberg pipe. This pipe, actually, I had made after, it's a nice Cumberland stem. This was made by Fabrizio Natalizia, and Jim Deshane of JD Pipes, Smoking Pipes, he made a pipe for Pipe Nutter. I don't know if you guys have seen his channel. Australian guy. Anyway, so he got a beautiful pipe made by JD Smoking Pipes, with a far superior grain, much better stain than this, but this one came out very nice as well. So anyway, when I saw that, I fell in love with it, and I just couldn't afford to spend what JD was charging for those pipes. So I had Fabrizio make this one up for me, and he did a good job for quite a lot less. I'll type out his name. Are you talking about the carver's name or the guy in Australia? Yeah, so it's Pipe Nutter. Interesting channel. He often does virtual meetups with 4 or 5 guys on the screen via Skype. He's just a funny guy. I enjoy watching him. Well, for the most part, this experiment seems to have been good. It's really nice to smoke an old favourite pipe. I used to smoke this almost every day, going back about a year or so ago. It seems to me that, in my experience anyway, tongue bite is all about the moisture, because in all of the pipes that I've done adaptations of filtration, like in the calabash, the Filarivara calabash, it's all about removing the moisture. And once you do that, everything seems to be a lot better. Which is why a lot of people also find an improved smoke with meerschaum pipes, because they're very absorbent, and the same with cobs as well. Although I personally don't get on with cobs, but just a personal preference, I guess. Okay, well, that was basically it. As I say, it seems to have worked. I had that with the McBarons. I used to call McBaron McBite, because whatever I smoked, any blend of McBarons always bit me like mad. But nowadays I can smoke it no problem. Hi Chris. Well, I guess it's all a matter of experimentation, trial and error really, isn't it? I haven't tried the Nording stones. A lot of people recommend those as well. It's something I still need to try. It seems to me just to be a little bit too much fussing around to get the stones in the bottom, put the tobacco in, and then you've got to be careful when you empty the tobacco not to lose the stones. So I haven't really gone for that, but I have some somewhere, a tin of it. Should really try, I suppose. Well, if you're gonna... Oh, do they? Okay. Nicholas, that's still, even with a 9mm filter, it bites you? The McBarons? I'm struggling to keep this Northwoods alight, must be honest. Really what I want to do is show you what the pipe cleaner looks like when I take it out before I sign off. That'd be cool, Aromatics. Have you got videos on your channel? I don't think I'm subscribed to your channel. Hi Chris. As I said earlier on, I'll have a look at your channel, Aromatics. I was trying to find a way to enjoy some of my old favourite pipes, which are not filtered pipes. And what I've done is I've cut up some pipe cleaner, folded it over, and just inserted it in the stem. And I got that idea from what I do with my calabash pipe. I do that, and that works as a fantastic filter. So that has kind of progressed into trying it in a normal stem. Cheers, Aromatics. And so far it seems to be pretty good. Having said that, I am smoking a Latakia based blend, which is cooler. If I was to try this on a Virginia blend, I might not have the same result. But now, thankfully, I've got enough Virginia based pipes which are filtered, so it's not really a problem. At the moment I'm intending to still go, yes, all being well. Are you going, Chris? Okay, I haven't heard of that EPOS. Well, I've been trying to go for the last 2 years, the previous 2 years, and didn't manage. Last year and the year before. So this year So far so good, my diary is still clear. That's always the problem with photography, is that I can literally get booked the day before. And it's always a double-edged sword and a tough choice, you know, take the day off and do something that you enjoy, or take on a job and earn some money, pay the bills, put some food on the table, and perhaps manage to buy another pipe or something like that. So it's my household survives on what I earn. I haven't got stockpiles of cash, so it's difficult. I have a similar dilemma in photography, because I remember a couple of times when my siblings were marrying off their kids, and my brother married off his daughter a couple of years back, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I had a booking for a wedding on the same day, a different wedding, to do photography, and it was a really tough decision, because I can either go to my brother's daughter's wedding, or I can earn a significant amount of money. In the end, I went to my brother's wedding, and I don't know if they realised what I sacrificed. I did sacrifice a lot of money, but you know, family's family, and that's important, and you do reap the rewards in the long run, I think, when it comes to family. But it's a tough one. Alright, so I'm going to empty this pipe in a sec, and we'll take the pipe cleaner out and see. Okay. Still a fair bit of tobacco in there. Just going to give it a couple of minutes to cool down. I don't want to break it down while it's warm. I'm not sure if I detected a little bit of the taste not tasting as fresh as I got down the bowl. And when I smoke with a filtered pipe, I don't detect that really, a deterioration or a taste of, I wouldn't say stale tobacco, but I'm not sure. I might just be imagining it. So I'm just wondering whether the fact that it's when you're breathing in and drawing in the smoke over a soiled bit of pipe cleaner, whether it's making a difference. I think I'm imagining it, because in the calabash I didn't have that problem, and I haven't smoked Northwoods for a while, so yeah, a little bit oops. Now, the tricky bit is getting the filter back out. So I can push it through into the bowl, or I can see if I can coax it out here. That's one piece. Where's that gone? Not sure. Yeah, so I can see this is going to be a bit of an issue, which I didn't really take into account properly. There it comes. So that's one of the bits, and that's got a fair bit of tobacco over it. I'm not sure if there's any more in there. No, that's it. So it's just that piece. Yeah, no, that's clear. Well, it wasn't too difficult, but it's not ideal. But I think overall the experiment certainly seems to have worked. But I think it's certainly, in conclusion, I think it's certainly simpler to have a filtered pipe. I think it's certainly an easy thing to do with a calabash pipe. There's no real work involved, and it's no real work to take it out either, so that's something I will continue to do. High bubbling piper, no, we talked about keystones before, and it's something which I do still need to try, but I haven't, simply because I think it's a bit of a faff getting them in, and then when you finish your bowl to make sure you don't lose them and so on, assuming you want to use them more than once. But I dare say I will try them at some point. I do have a tin somewhere, which I got together with a pipe from the Danish pipe shop. They do send always a little something every so often when I buy a pipe. Sometimes it's some sweets, sometimes it's a tin of rolling keystones. So yeah, maybe that's something that I'll try. Okay, I hope that was of interest. It was certainly an interesting experiment for me to try. I'm always, looking to find ways to make. It could be right, and maybe it is cat litter. I don't know, but I assume they're essentially doing the same thing, which is absorbing moisture. So it was an interesting experiment. As I say, always looking to try and find ways of making pipe smoking easier and more enjoyable. So I don't see the point in smoking. People ask me, why do I smoke with a filter, even though persevere with the tongue bite and so on. I just don't see the point. Why should I put myself through pain and discomfort if I can do it without? People say you lose a bit of flavour and a bit of the breadth of flavours. I don't see that. I've not really had a problem with that. And for me, the benefits usually outweigh the negatives, because I've got access to so many more tobaccos now, Virginia tobaccos, which I didn't have before. So filters for me are great. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining. And this was an impromptu live show, so I appreciate you all the more. Thanks very much. I wish you all a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks Chris, thanks Bumbling Piper, thanks Nicholas, thanks to, who else, Aromatics, if he's still there, I think he's gone. Who else did we have? Quaker, if you're still there listening, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you're busy. Anyway, I wish you all a fantastic evening. Cheers everybody.